What is up everyone? If you are not one of my regular viewers, you will probably hate this video. This is not a tutorial. This is not even anything remotely useful for anyone out there on the internet. So don't follow what I do. This is just me documenting something that I'm going to do today for my regular viewers to keep up to date with what the heck is happening, and a little bit of a demo as to why I purchased this iMac. Because this is a brilliant example. So, right here we have Jess's iPhone 5S still in the box with a little bobble around it there to keep it safe. And as you guys will be able to see right now, if I get the phone out, the phone is smashed quite badly on the screen. The digitizer is also broken, so this phone has suffered in all senses of the word screen breaking, and it's also really bad up here as well. So just as a little bit of history with me and phone repairs, a few years ago when I started taking in people's laptops and things, and I became known locally through the grapevine as somebody that would repair laptops, you know, I was changing hard drives for people and changing displays for people and things like that, and it was going pretty well. And then of course people came up to me and started asking if I would repair phones, and I considered this for a little while, and I decided to take on my first phone, which was an iPhone 3GS, and it needed a new dock connector. It needed a new 30-pin connector, and on the 3GS it's a single board with speaker and microphone. I have no idea if they're the same on these newer iPhones. And that's the first ever phone repair I did for someone, and it went brilliantly. After that, I repaired about 4 or 5 different phones. I had 4 or 5 other projects, and I also repaired my own Galaxy Note 2. I repaired the USB. I can't remember if I made a video about that. I don't think I did, but yeah, when I got my Galaxy Note 2 damage, I fixed my phone by changing the charging board yet again. And yeah, after that I got my next phone in, which was another iPhone 3GS, and a few mistakes made by me and a few miscommunications between me and the customer meant that I completely messed up their phone and had to pay out I lost quite a bit of money on that particular project, and from that day forward I have not really repaired phones. Now, for anyone who is not aware, phone repair would be something that would be much easier for me if I didn't suffer with the condition that I do. For those of you who don't know, I am visually impaired, I'm sight impaired, and everything takes longer. The smaller it is, it doesn't mean I can't do it, it just means that it takes longer. I struggle with it more, I need to take more breaks because I get eye strain and things like that. And maybe I'll need to use a couple of extra magnifying glasses here and there just to see things. But yeah, that definitely contributed to the reasoning behind stopping the phone repairs. It just wasn't for me, so I stuck to repairing a few laptops and desktops, and that is much more my game because it's much bigger stuff. Anyway, let's dig into this replacement and see what we've got. We've even got you guys a bit of a better angle there. I went for one of these cheapo all-in-one screen replacements, apparently highest quality screen available, blah blah blah, load of crap. I'm basically doing this as a carry us over. If this lasts a couple of months or whatever until Jess can get a new iPhone, then that'll be okay. I believe this was about 20 quid, and I cheaped out. I got the entire assembly, so Jess won't have Touch ID, but I've spoken to her about that and it's no big deal for her. So yeah, I don't have to faff with changing the home button or the earpiece or the cameras or any of that fiddly stuff. To be perfectly honest, after those experiences a couple of years ago, have no desire to dive into phone repairs ever again. It's just not up my street at all, but doing this for Jess is absolutely fine. So here is the screen assembly. Of course I'm going to be very careful with this. Let's take it out of the bag and have a look at it. Why the heck not? Here it is. Wow, my gosh. This stuff is so small, everything's so little. Okay, here's the iPhone 5S screen. As you can see, the home button looks very nice. Looks like Touch ID would work, but of course no Touch ID support. I could swap the home button, but I'm not going to do that. It's just another thing to go wrong. So there's that. And of course, with these all-in-one kits from eBay, you do get the toolkit with all of the tools you need for the job, which is very handy because although I have loads and loads of tools for the job and much better tools than these, they are all in my old house. I have still yet to bring all of my spare parts and my tools and my repair stuff down, which is my fault, but there we go. That's not a problem. We've got these, and this will be fine for this one repair, as long as I can get into the bag. So it gives us 3 little screwdrivers, one of these plastic little spudger lift-up tools, another one that's a slightly different shape, 2 of these sort of guitar pick things, one thick one, one thin one, and of course the sucker cup. So yeah, nice little collection of stuff there. And as one of the main focuses of this video, this is an example of the use for the iMac. So if I get it out of screensaver here, and screensaver is something that I'll have to disable in a minute because it's going to annoy me. I have the iPhone 5S disassembly guide here on iFixit, which is really handy. And I had a couple of people saying in my unboxing video of the iMac, it's a stupid reason for putting a computer on the setup. You could easily go over to your other machine. But if you're following a guide, then it's nice to have it here. And of course, music control. And lately I've been listening to some Bad Company. So, without further ado, let's dig into this phone. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to say right from the get-go here, guys, that the angles are going to be super crappy in this video. This is going to be rough all round, but this is not a sign of things to come for the Workbench series. This is just, as I say, a really rough one, and I'll get the camera up higher. I'm hoping to incorporate some kind of camera mount into my new shelving unit that I'm going to put above. But yeah, let's start by getting out the 2 screws on the bottom of the phone here, and I'm not really sure which screwdriver works, so we're just going to try the first one here. Look at that, folks, beginner's luck. The first of the 3 crappy little plastic screwdrivers works. And just look at how dreadfully small all of this stuff is. This is not my cup of tea at all. But as long as Jess can squeeze a little bit more use out of her phone, that's all I care about. And if the repair goes successfully, she's going to buy a little case because she's never cased up her iPhone. And of course, that's part of the problem. One thing I don't have is a screw tray, so I'm going to use the iPhone box here and probably mix up all the screws. But there we go. So if I just record this on camera for my own reference, the screws out the bottom of the phone are in top left, and when I do that over the course of the repair here, I will probably cut that out in editing because you guys don't need to know where the screws are going to go. I really like iFixit sometimes. You know, they make the sentences fun, like it says here, we're done screwing around, it's time to get this baby open. You know, that's really, it's kind of encouraging, you know, when you're having a rough day and you're feeling like the last thing you want to be doing is opening up one of these. That is definitely encouraging. The only thing that I've got to be careful of here is because the screen is broken. I don't want to get shards of glass going all over the place here, so I'm going to try and see if I can lift up the screen a little, but also pry it from the bottom here. Now, this is a bad sign here. I'm no expert, but when the glass on the front starts to separate from the screen assembly itself, then that is time to try and work it out another way as well. I think that can often happen when the screen smashes. It's all flooding back to me now. Okay, so this is mistake number 1. This is not a tutorial, but let's just do comedic tutorial commentary. You don't want that to happen. Okay? That is wrong. It should not do that. Whoops. That is now split. But that's okay, because there's a bit of space for leverage in the bottom here. So when you split the front and the back of the screen, it becomes a little bit trickier to take it off. Rookie error. But not too bad, because you can eventually get it off, and then we get to see the inside of the phone, which is of course mostly battery. So let's take a look at the next step on iFixit to see how to disconnect these cables properly. So maybe apart from all the shards of glass that I've got all over my workbench here, you guys would be proud of me. I've taken off the battery cover, battery cable connector cover here, and unplugged the battery. 2 screws for that there, and then I've taken off this cover over the other connectors, taking the connectors off, because obviously the display assembly is over there, and as you can see there's a little pattern of screws, and this is why I've got the iMac. Look at the iMac working really well here, folks. So every screw is a different size, typical Apple. So I've basically mapped them out in the same shape there on my desk, which is far less than ideal, but there we go. So here is the iPhone. It is time to do the same in reverse. What a beautiful sight. Not back together yet. Only 2 of the screws from that cover are installed, but I'm just giving it a little test before putting the other screws back on. It's literally taken me about 10 minutes just to get those 2 screws in. They are so tiny, so small. Ridiculously small, you know, microscopic. You can barely, well, not microscopic, but when they're in your hands you can barely feel they're there. They shouldn't be allowed to make screws that small, for crying out loud. Hey, there we have it, and should have working touchscreen as well. Oh wait, I've still got this stuff on it, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit less responsive through that plastic, I think. Okay, let's turn it off. Look at that, guys, like a professional. Both screws back into that thing, all 4 back into that thing. Hell yeah. Now all I've got to try and do is get this this home button connector in, and yeah, it looks like someone's been in here before. Well, probably have. It's a refurbished phone, because I didn't have a metal cover over my home button connector. Either that or I broke it off and it's flown somewhere and I haven't noticed it. I totally didn't just peel that off without recording it. So this is not a reenactment. There we go. There's the phone, home button, touchscreen, the works. All I've got to do is put the screws back in the bottom. So there we have it, folks, completely reassembled. Home button working, as you can see. Touchscreen working. So yeah, let's get Jess.
Oh, no. I don't like it.
Do you want to test the front camera?
Front camera. Yes, I've totally forgotten how to use it. Rubbish.
Yay, front camera. Awesome.
Oh, I look terrible. Swimming hair.
So I'm really glad that the first video, primarily fixing something on the workbench using the iMac, I'm so glad that it actually went well. Yeah, I'm a complete noob, and I don't want to be inside a phone again for a very long time, but that went better than I'd expected. And I may keep this because I've got a spare, oh no, not that. I may keep this because I have a spare earpiece, front camera and home button on it. Reason I went for the complete assembly was just convenience, really. So yeah, there we go. Well, this was something a little different from my channel. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Don't worry, I won't make it a regular thing. I know I'm absolutely rubbish, but yeah, I thought it'd be cool to show off the first legitimate use of the iMac, and it did very well delivering the iFixit guide, so a pat on the back for the little Core 2 Duo 2006 iMac. Anyway, that's it for this little episode, folks. As always, I'll be seeing you in the next video.